Alright guys, welcome back to the Dark Souls Remastered walkthrough, Indiana Jones style. In this episode, we are going to take down Orenstein and Smough, and then we're going to open up the rest of the DLC. There's another part we have to do. And then we're going to enter the DLC, and that's going to be it for this episode. So, the first thing we got to do is we got to take down a few gargoyles. You can snipe them, but they're quite squirrely. They're very hard to hit sometimes because they jump around a lot. But nevertheless, they have an aggro range. They simply cannot enter certain areas, so we're going to take advantage of that, and we're just going to cheese them from this staircase right here. You can usually get the first shot off, but when he starts flying, it starts to become increasingly difficult to get a shot on him. As you can see, I barely sniped him there. And he'll run away too. And then he'll just turn right back around and come at you. Now, if you didn't get the axe from the previous gargoyles, you'll get it here if you can snipe his tail. Well, I did it by mistake. I didn't mean to do it. It's very hard to actually snipe his tail, but if you wanted it for real, you could just hit it with a sharp weapon, chopping weapon. The claymore is a very good weapon to chop tails, but in this walkthrough, that's not something we're going to use, but we got it unintentionally. There it is. Didn't mean to get that, but now he can't use his tail, so it is beneficial to take out tails, because then they usually lose a form of attack when you do that. We're just going to finish him off with our fists, and off to the right here, there's a little drop off. First I wasn't sure if I was going to go ahead and get it, but there's some demon titanite around the corner. Now we're not going to use it in this walkthrough, but it is nice to have boss weapons for you know, if you want to mess around. So I changed my mind and turned around here. I said, yeah, you know what? I'll go ahead and get it. It's in a chest in the very back here. And I do want to get the Chaos Blade for my own enjoyment later. I did mention that before. So you will need Demon Titanite to get, you know, upgrade boss weapons. To get, you know, to get the full effect of a boss weapon, you're going to have to upgrade it just like any other weapon. But it only takes Demon Titanite, so we have to use that. Right here, you want to go up this buttress. I don't know how anybody would have found this. I guess the cracked window, or the broken window up here, was an indication of, oh, I should probably go up there. It's very obtuse, and I'm glad I didn't have to figure it out. Now, watch out for this guy that falls from above. You can usually backstab this guy, but our fists are good enough to just take him out in a few hits. Or our whip here. I missed terribly, and I got backstabbed. Epic fail on that one. Let's try this again. Well, one power whip stance here, and he's out. Now, this next part is very tricky. Can be tricky. You can fall to your death on many occasions. Fortunately, I didn't fall to my death on this occasion, but we want to get our binoculars out, and we want to make sure we have good, you know, good poise. So we got the wolf ring on, and we also have the ring of steel protection. This is going to give us a little extra, because we're going to tank some hits here, because there's really nowhere to dodge. So we're going to tank a hit there, and usually they'll just fall off to their death when they just don't know how to walk on a narrow path here. Here's your most area here you can feel the safest. This is the more area to walk in. So we're going to stop here, and we're going to get our binoculars out and snipe this guy from a distance. Get him to start running at us. We want him to come to us. We don't want to come to him. So I was able to snipe him a couple times, but I couldn't get the third shot. But he will come to us. Try not to do too much moving around. That's why we're going to tank some hits here. And we're just going to little jab him, and we're done. Don't do any attacks that are going to take your momentum forward too much, because you will fall off. Like, don't use a great sword or anything. You know, you'll definitely fall off this thing. as evidence of Iron Tarkus down there, which we'll get to him later. Again, we're just gonna kind of walk towards him a little bit. Have to tank a hit or two. Here we're just gonna snipe him, and he's out. Now we have to take down one more gargoyle before we can get to the bonfire. We're gonna get to one bonfire, and then we're gonna just go straight for the boss. We're gonna go straight for Orenstein and Smough, because we want to get the Lord Vessel. We don't want to mess around too much. We're not going to explore Anor Londo. We're going to do that later, but right now we just want to get the Lord Vessel. So we're just going to kind of blitz through this thing. So you got to turn this thing a couple of times. The first time you're going to turn it, the gargoyle will spawn. He will come from the stairs of Anor Londo. Yeah, there he is right there. Now what you can do is you can plunge attack him here, which I do recommend. It'll take a good portion of his health. And here I'm just going to brute force him. I'm just going to punch him to death. Tank some hits. You should be powerful enough now where you can just kind of brute force your way through some things. Use strong straights to take him out pretty quick. And again, like I say, you'll get all the gargoyle equipment if you hadn't got it now. Now we're going to turn it one more time. And we can get into the bonfire area. Actually, I think we've got to turn it twice more. No, that's it. That's the one time you turn it after that. And the DLC is straight ahead, but we're not going there right now. Not that DLC anyway. Go down these stairs and you're going to hit your bonfire. It's very important to hit this bonfire because the Anor Londo archers, or the gargoyles that have the winged bats, I should say, that have the lightning spears, might end your life. And you know, you don't want to have to come all the way back through all that crap that you just did with the windows. So definitely hit this bonfire. It is the #1 priority right now. Now, if you want the Ring of the Firstborn, that's a very good ring for Faith builds, but we're not using Faith. But I still like to pick it up. Now, you make sure you have the Hornet Ring equipped and a good poise. You want to have good poise, so you want to keep the Wolf Ring on, because you don't want to get knocked off of the building once you're going at the Anor Londo archers. A lot of people consider this the hardest part of Dark Souls. If any time I disagreed with a statement, it's this one. All you need is to parry riposte one guy, and if you can't do it with these highly telegraphed Silver Knights, then you got a problem. I mean, it's not hard at all, really. There's a little bit of RNG, a little bit, but it's really not that bad. I have done this area so many times on the first try. I heard some YouTubers saying this was the hardest part of the entire game. They had to have been exaggerating. Some people cheese these guys with poison arrows and stuff, but I just deem that totally unnecessary when you can just parry riposte one guy and be done with it. So that's what we're going to do. And you'll see it right here. I don't have a shield. I'm just going to go right up to him and parry him and riposte him. And you might get hit in the back with an arrow, but if you got good poise, which I do recommend the Wolf Ring here, so you don't get knocked off too easily. And we're not going to deal with any of these enemies. We're just going to run past them. Kind of hug the railing here to the left and just go straight down this area. Now you can get shot in the back with some lightning here, but just do a few rolls if you feel them coming, hear them coming. Right here, just go real close to him and just go around him. Now, usually they'll shoot a couple of lightning bolts up here, but for some reason he didn't do it. Now, make sure you wait till he already fires and run. Just run. Run up the top here. And hug the left wall and get ready to roll. You have to time it just right. Now, he didn't quite fire right away, but I got hit by the other guy. Roll there, and he will usually start coming at you. Just parry him once, and that's it. With the Wolf Ring and the Hornet Ring, you should be able to get through this area on the first try. But you definitely want to hit the bonfire before doing anything else. Because if you were to die, you would have to do it all again. And you definitely don't want to have to do that. So hit this area to the left. Make sure to talk to Solaire to advance his quest line. We are going to summon him for one more fight, but that's later. We're not going to use him for the Orenstein and Smough fight. We're not going to use him for that one. He just makes it. He might kill Orenstein first, and we don't want that. So we're going to just not summon him for this fight. We do want to, however, kindle this bonfire to get to 20 Estus. You want to have as much health as possible in this fight. It is widely considered the hardest boss fight in Dark Souls. Again, I highly disagree. I really don't think it is. Even if I cheese Orenstein, it's still not that hard of a fight compared to some of the other fights that we're going to use in this build that we're going to fight with this build. You just want to parry riposte these knights. Of course, I missed there. They're very easy to parry, just like the Black Knights. They're highly telegraphed. And with the Hornet Ring, you should be able to one-shot them at this point. Now, I am going to use a little trick here. It's a little shortcut. You might not get it the first time, but it's quite easy to do. You're just going to run and jump over this railing here. This is going to cut off a little bit of the level. We still are going to go ahead and advance Sigmire, his quest. We need to advance his quest, so we have to do a portion of this level. We have to kill some Silver Knights that he's gotten trapped by. He can't kill the Silver Knights, so we have to help him. But first we're going to go ahead and open up the shortcut from the bonfire to the boss. So we have to take on the most annoying enemy in the game, the Spear Knights. These guys are so damn annoying because they're so hard to repost. And I missed there, and I missed there. The timing is just, it's weird. I still don't understand it. But was able to get him this time. Don't aggro the other knight behind you. He's got a little aggro range. Just don't mess with him right now. He's guarding the Silver Knight armor, which we're not going to use. So once this door is open, we have effectively opened up the shortcut. Okay, now we are going to go help Sigmire with the Silver Knights. You have to do this part in order to advance this quest line. There are a total of 3 Silver Knights you're going to have to kill in a room, but do not fight them anywhere near Sigmire, because if you accidentally hit Sigmire, he will turn hostile, and you'll have no choice but to go to Oswald and request absolution, which will take a hefty amount of souls and a chunk of your time. So just don't bother fighting them anywhere but in the room that they're in. Now you want to come up these stairs, and there's a couple of Silver Knights you'll have to kill before you even get to Sigmire. They both are sporting great bows in addition to their Silver Knight straight swords. So if you try to shoot them from distance, they're just going to try to shoot you with their great bows. Dragon bows, they're ones that have the huge arrows. But with the sword, they're nothing. So you just go ahead and repost them easily. And this is how you're going to deal with them in the room to help Sigmire out. So first you want to talk to Sigmire. Don't kill the Silver Knights first without talking to Sigmire. Exhaust all of his dialogue. That's exhausting his dialogue. Now, as soon as you open the door, turn right and parry riposte this guy. Easy enough to do. Now we're going to get our crossbow out and lure one to us. We don't want to aggro both knights at the same time, because the thing about Dark Souls is you want to make sure it's one-on-one most of the time, whenever you can help it. One to go. And that's it. There is a chest in the room that contains some Demon Titanite. There's 2 of them. And if you are going for a boss weapon, you'll definitely need these. We are going to be crafting a boss weapon, but we're not going to use it in this walkthrough. But I'm just going to have it for my own enjoyment. Now, when you talk to him, he'll give you a glitched ring. The reason I say it's glitched is because the developers did not create the ring the way it should have been. It was supposed to give you 10% more of health. Instead, it only gives you 10 HP, which is a huge waste of a ring slot. It's the most useless ring in the entire game, in my opinion. Well, besides the Witch's Ring, which only gives you a little bit of dialogue options. Now, you could kill all these mimics that are up here if you want to. They drop gold and silver coins that you can feed to Frampt, but we're just not going to bother. Of course, you can always have a chance to get the Mimic Hat, which is one of the best items in the entire game. But again, we're not going to be using it for this build, but it is great for leveling and item discovery. Now we're just going to sit at the bonfire, and we're just going to go straight to Orenstein and Smough. We're not going to summon Solaire for this fight, but we're going to make sure we have everything that we need. So, what do we need for Orenstein and Smough? Well, because we have 0 stat investment into stamina, we're definitely going to need a boost in that department, so we're going to equip the Chloranthy Ring. We don't have a lot of poise either, so we're going to equip the Wolf Ring, because our armor gives us next to nothing on poise. Now, we're just going to run to the boss. We're not going to deal with these knights, only the first one here. Sometimes you can avoid this guy's spear. This time I did not, but you can see I didn't get stuttered there because of the Wolf Ring. So we're just going to keep on running. We're not going to fight these big-ass giants in the room either. Now, if you were to summon Solaire, you would have to take care of both of these. And the knight up top that's shooting the bow is just a pain in the ass room. This room sucks. So we're just going to run down the stairs here. And he'll always walk around this pillar here, giving you a chance to go around the other side and go up the stairs and not have to do any engagement with any of these assholes. So now, welcome to Orenstein and Smough. Taunted is the hardest fight in Dark Souls, but again, with this build, it's not that hard. It's going to be very simple, especially with a plus 15 crossbow, which is what we have. You want to make sure you don't attack Orenstein. You want to attack Smough only, because we're going for the Leo Ring. You have to kill this guy first. Sideway rolls when he's doing that attack will always miss. You always want to have both of the bosses in your sight at all times. But when you're locking on, try not to get immobilized too close like that. But when you're locking on to Smough, you can't really see Orenstein unless he's in that line of sight. You see he's off to the right here. But I can still see him. So whenever you have an opportunity, just hit him with a bolt, and make sure you're using your big bolts. Right here, I was using the small ones for some reason. I should have been doing more damage even. As you can see right here, I'm waiting for him to move. Now I got a shot. Ooh, that was a close one. If you have to heal, always do it behind a pillar. Of course, I go against my advice in a few seconds, I'm sure. If you get a knack for their animations, you know you have a chance to do something in between attacks. But it's highly recommended to always heal behind a pillar. So things are doing pretty well here with Orenstein and Smough. Well, now it's time to heal for sure. Yeah, see right there, that's why you want to make sure you have both of them in your sight, because you get trapped in a corner here. But I got good poise because I put the ring on, and I'm not getting staggered. So now that's phase 1 of the fight done. Phase 2 is a cakewalk, because I'm going to exploit a glitch here that I discovered by mistake by myself one day. So you want to get close to the pillar here, and you want him to shoot his lightning. If he's behind a pillar and he's attempting to shoot the lightning, he will always try to shoot the lightning. But the pillar will always nullify the lightning. So you're effectively invincible right now. You can stand here all day. In fact, if you're really ballsy, you could use the red Tearstone ring. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to continue to snipe him from distance and get the Leo ring and the Lord Vessel. Some people might call this a cheese tactic, and it very much is. But I have killed Orenstein and Smough in many ways. But this is the easiest way that I have found. And for this build, it's going to be the easiest way as well. Always try to equip your Silver Serpent Ring after a boss fight, so you can get the extra souls. Now the precious Leo Ring. We'll be using this for the bosses in the foreseeable future, especially in the DLC. Now, let's talk about Guinevere for a minute. You can kill her, but if you kill her, since she's only an illusion really, If you destroy the illusion, all of Anor Londo will go dark, and you'll be attacked by the dark moonblades, and you won't be able to join their covenant. And but in a good way, though, you won't need the seance ring to get into Gwendolyn's boss fight arena. Right now, we can't get into the arena, but if we were to kill the illusion here, if we were to destroy the illusion, we wouldn't need the ring. But we're not going to do that because we don't want to fight more things that we don't have to. And we want to use that bonfire without hostility for a little while. The one in Anor Londo, the Firekeeper will attack you, and you won't be able to rest at that bonfire anymore. You can warp to it, but you won't be able to rest at it. So we don't want to do that right now. We're going to save those bosses for the very end. So we're going to start investing in endurance now, because we've got our dex and our strength up to 30. We are going to go up to 40 eventually, but right now we're just going to focus on endurance for a little while. The next step is to talk to Sigmire and advance his questline yet again. He will go down into Blighttown after this, and you'll have to talk to him down there and give him some purple moss clumps. He'll also give you a miracle, which we're not going to use right here, but you make sure you say yes here. Don't say no. Not sure what happens if you say no, but we don't want to find out. Exhaust his dialogue yet again until he says, "Adventuring is my life." Now, we want to set the Lord Vessel. Now, you can do it for Frampt or Koth. I recommend Frampt. He's more useful. But if you want to join the Dark Moon, or the Dark Wraith Covenant, you're going to have to not give this to Frampt. But we're not doing that, so I find Frampt much more useful because he can break down materials for you. I mean, what the hell can Koth do? All he can do is give you a covenant. And once you have the covenant, it's whatever. So Frampt is the best one in my opinion. Now, we need to go back, and we have to go to Anor Londo again. Now that we've opened up all of the seals, we have to go to Anor Londo and go to the Duke's Archives, because we have to advance the DLC. There's one more part of the DLC we have to use or do to open up the DLC. You have to kill a specific crystal golem to get a broken pendant. Once we have that broken pendant, a rip in time will appear where you killed the golden golem behind the Hydra, and where you got the acquainted set. So we're gonna go ahead. I don't know why this bonfire wasn't already kindled. Oh, that's right. I was saving my humanity. So now we're going to make our way towards a specific bonfire. The one at the end of the first episode, where we rested at the end of the first episode, right by the Valley of Drakes. The reason we want to rest at this bonfire is we want to warp back to it. Now, you cannot warp to that bonfire from any bonfire, but if we sit at that bonfire and then don't rest in any other bonfires, if we warp back to the original one we rested, we'll have that as a warp. So we have to get back to this point because it's the closest bonfire to the DLC. So we have to go to Anor Londo first before we can get to the DLC. So what we're going to do, we're going to rest at this bonfire near the Valley of Drakes. We're going to go to Anor Londo, get the broken pendant, then homeward bound back to this bonfire in the Valley of Drakes. So we'll be close to the DLC, and we'll continue from there. Alright, so while I'm on my way to the next bonfire, let's talk about the next video. So in this video, we're just going to get to the DLC. But in the next video, we're actually going to be in the DLC, and we're going to kill one boss, one NPC, and we're going to get an item. Now, the boss we're going to kill is called the Sanctuary Guardian. The NPC is Chester, Marvelous Chester, and we will take his attire as our own. It's going to basically be our Indiana Jones jacket. And that will nearly complete our Indiana Jones wardrobe. We still need one more piece, although it's not aesthetically accurate for Indiana Jones. However, we are optimizing our build, which includes fist weapons, and the spiked gauntlets will give us a 10% damage boost on our fist attacks. So it's going to be worth getting. Now, the item that we're going to get is a Titanite slab. A very rare item in this game. Yes, you can farm for them, but it takes forever. However, there is a chest that contains one in the DLC, so we're going to get that, and we're going to use that slab on Avalon, which I'm hoping to get next episode, but I'm not quite sure if we're going to be able to get to it in time. I'm trying to make these videos about 30 minutes long. This one's about 34, so I went a little over this time. But for the remainder of this episode, we have to go to Anor Londo and get into the Duke's archives. We're not going to sit at any bonfire, however, so we can't make any mistakes. We're going to kill 2 charging boars, and we're going to kill some crystal hollows, which these enemies are extremely dangerous. They might be basic hollows, but they're buffed in more ways than one. They have crystal weapons, and crystal hits very hard. These guys hit like a truck, especially when they're buffed. When the Chandler can buff them, they are extremely dangerous. They can take off 3/4 of your health in one hit. Let's not even talk about New Game Plus 6, what they can do to your health bar. An arrow can one-shot you in some cases. But before, we never went this way. Now, if you want to kill these guys, you can. There is a Mimic to the right and Twinkling Titanite on the left. Now, Twinkling Titanite is something we do covet right now because we're going to be using it very soon on our new attire that we're going to get from the DLC. And the Spiked Gauntlets also take Twinkling Titanite to upgrade, so we're going to need some Twinkling Titanite. Now, up here, we're going to use another exploit. So, in the first video, I explained that some enemies just cannot get past an invisible barrier. Like, they just give up. And you saw this with the gargoyle earlier, sort of. But it's very, very well demonstrated in this case. So, the boar will charge you, but he won't go past, he won't touch the staircase. He stops. And he just backs up and looks at you, and backs up and looks at you. You'll have to kind of lure him to you if he gets too far away, but we're just going to snipe him. It's going to take quite a while because he's not supposed to be attacked from the front usually. So it's going to take quite a few bolts to take him down, but this is the easiest way to do it and the recommended way. We could have just ran past them as well, but there's another one too. So we're going to have to do this twice, which is kind of a slog. I'll see if I can make this quicker by using the red tearstone ring next time. It'll cause more damage. So I'll just let the boar hit me a few times, and we'll take him down a lot quicker on the next one. Now, if you haven't got the boar helmet from the previous encounter, you will definitely get it as your reward for killing both of these boars if you haven't got it already. So, even if you don't get it on this guy, you'll get it on the next one guaranteed. It's a guaranteed drop when you kill the next boar. So, we want to go ahead and run down this hallway, and there's another hallway, and then he's just around the corner of the next hallway, guarding the entrance to the bonfire and all that. You could, theoretically just run past him, but we're going to kill him and exploit his ridiculous AI. But we're going to let him hit us. We'll stand in front of him here. There, we take a hit there. And we'll stand up, let him hit us again. Now we're about dead, but we can run away. They usually won't catch you as long as you're running fast. Don't stop, though. Don't get too close, even on the stairs here. We're going to equip the red tearstone ring to make this a lot faster than last time. Gotta wait for him to charge. Run like hell. Now we should be doing about 70 something damage now as opposed to 29, which we were doing earlier, so it's more than double. And there you go. No more boars for the rest of the walkthrough. That was the last one. Now, in this next area, you want to make sure you have defense. Complete defense. Because, like I said, these guys hit so hard. So we're going to equip the blue tearstone ring and the steel ring of steel protection. This will give us extra defense. These guys hit so hard, and there's a lot of them. This is one of the more difficult areas in the game, in my opinion, because there's so many of these guys that come out at once. And there's an archer up at the top of the stairs, and there's a chandler, and there's a crystal golem. So there's a lot to deal with here. So you want to take this very slow. So here's what you do. Don't rush out. Stay off to the left here, behind the protection of the wall. Let the first guy come to you. We're going to use our combo, our whip and bolt combo here. Now you see I came out too much there, and you'll get sniped. They're not doing a lot of damage right now, but I do have a ring equipped, and I'm still getting quite a bit of damage. Now, there's another one here. Just wait for him to come out. Try not to expose yourself in the open right there. That sniper will just consistently hit you. So now we want to go to the left and drop this guy on the right. He will come. You can snipe him a few times as you wait for him to come to you. But again, your whip is your best bet with the combo. Now, we're going to take out the sniper and a couple more, I think it's a couple more hollows. And then we can get the crystal golem, which is our main goal right here. He's got the broken pendant. So yeah, let's lure this guy out. And there's going to be one more that's standing in front of the crystal golem that we need to take out. So whip and bolt. Now, one more. Try not to aggro the blue crystal golem before you kill the hollow. You certainly don't want to be taking on both of them at the same time. Now, you can do a lot of damage to him before he can even get to you. Just keep on sniping. One more ought to do it. No, one more. This one. There you go. Now, the broken pendant. Now we can access the DLC. We have opened a tear in time, and we need to go through that tear to go back in time to the DLC. So we're time traveling basically. If you have a lot of souls, you want to use them as soon as you enter the DLC. The reason being is you don't want to go into the boss fight with a bunch of souls, because it's very likely you will die. Because the Sanctuary Guardian is a rather tough boss, and it can hit very hard and surprise a lot of players. It has a lot of attacks that take a lot of damage from you. Like his charge with his horn, for example, it's almost a one-hit kill, almost. But it will devastate your health bar. He's got lightning bolts of various types. He's got big ones. He's got small ones. He's got a poison attack where if it hits you one time, you're poisoned. So you might want to think about having some purple moss on hand as well. So I do recommend to spend any souls that you have as soon as you enter the DLC. Because if you don't, you might run the risk of losing everything. Sometimes it's hard to even get the souls back, even if you run straight towards them, because he's a very aggressive boss. It's almost like he knows you want those souls, and he'll make your life miserable. He's actually the easiest of the 4 bosses that we're going to fight, but still. A tear in time right here. We're going to time travel by going through this portal, and that's going to be the episode. We are now in the DLC. The second DLC. We didn't go in the first one yet. We'll probably do that near the end of the series. All the optional bosses. Hand of Menace comes in and drags you in. And that's it. See you guys in part 10.